What's up, everyone? Welcome to HBCU Game Day. Happy holidays. I'm Tolly Carr here in Atlanta, and I've been wearing quarter zips since before they were cool. Speaking of cool, did she lose her cool this weekend? Are you texting Jalen Hurts right now, telling him to get it together?
First of all, Jalen Hurts don't have no issues. Why would I be texting him? If I'm texting anybody, it's Saquon.
Symone is here after a rough NFL weekend, but we had a good HBCU weekend because there was lots of excitement. Games in the MEAC and SWAC, everything was on the line, and they delivered from a fan's entertainment perspective. Maybe not your favorite team, depending on who you cheer for. Let's bring in Wilton Jackson to the conversation from Jackson, Mississippi. What's up, Wilton?
What's going on, Tolly?
Hey, man, no tie, pocket square, looking good. Happy holidays to your brother, getting ready for Thanksgiving, man. I hope you and your family enjoy things. Well, what's on the table in Jackson, Mississippi for Thanksgiving?
Man, Tyler, you'll get a combination of a bunch of different things. Of course, you're going to have more of the traditional. You're going to have some turkey. You're going to have some ham, some dressing. You're going to have some string beans, macaroni and cheese.
But what makes it a Mississippi Thanksgiving? What's the special thing?
You gotta have some collard greens, man. You gotta have the greens on the table. And I mean, they gotta be collard greens. They can't be turnips and mustard and It gotta be, not got to be. It gotta be collard greens.
Okay,
That's funny because that's the worst thing on Thanksgiving.
What?
Oh wow, not
It
in
is.
Mississippi.
You're gonna follow up last week's fiasco with this?
Collard greens are not good, and I love greens. I love a green. I love kale. I love salad. I love broccoli.
We're
But
talking
collard
about for
greens is
Thanksgiving,
just too.
Not the healthy greens. Now I love everything you just said.
Yeah.
But on Thanksgiving,
What
give me
can
some
you
collard greens.
possibly find wrong with collard greens?
It's just watery. I don't like watered vegetables. Like that is a pet peeve of mine.
Who cooked your collard greens?
Well, actually,
Yeah.
we don't do collard greens a lot because I'm not the only one in the family that's not pressed for collard greens. So we
Is
actually.
there an Aunt Karen in your family? You must have had Aunt Karen's collard greens.
I don't like the way it's swimming in juice.
Not
That's the best part.
y'all.
And then it juices around the plate and it be
I hate
getting in
Tyler, we went
everything.
from I got 5 on it to now she don't like collard greens.
I hate to say this. I really hate to be a bully, but internet, do your thing. This
I'm
girl
just,
does
I know I'm not
like
the only
collard
one.
greens.
I know I'm not the only
You're the
one.
only one at this network. I tell you that.
Miles probably don't either.
No, Miles,
Oh.
our director, just came in our earpiece and said, "You are by yourself."
Well, I'm making a Biscoff banana pudding.
That's good. We can take that.
Biscoff,
Yes.
like the things that you get on the airplane.
Yes.
Oh,
No, that's
okay.
good.
That might not be bad. But that still does not get your black card back for disowning collard greens. All right, let's get to the games. It was a hell of a game. South Carolina State makes the trip to Delaware State. It was the official MEAC championship. There is no MEAC championship game, but both of these teams were undefeated. Winner goes to the Celebration Bowl. Symone, it started out, Delaware State put themselves in a hole. They battled back, but that hole at the beginning with the interceptions might have been too much.
Yeah. You can't lose the turnover battle in a championship game and think you're going to win the game. But it was a great season for Delaware State. Game just started off on the wrong side of things with that pick six. Then there was another pick. Shout out to the Bulldogs. I mean, they were the better team, and they showed it. They already have some MEAC championship pedigree as of recent. Was able to go on the road, not even upset, but do the job they were supposed to do.
Wilton, there's nothing to hang your head about from a performance standpoint outside of those turnovers. I mean, Delaware State could just run the ball. That offensive line, man, they will knock holes open. The running backs get the job done. They lose it 28-17, but I'm watching that game, and I think I put this in the group text, maybe third quarter. I said Delaware State should be winning this game. They missed 3 field goals. They had some untimely penalties, You look at the final score, you say 28-17, and not taking away anything from South Carolina State. But
Ooh, they gonna be mad at you.
so we're going to talk about this game in layers. Delaware State was good enough. They just did not execute to be able to win a MEAC championship in the first year under Deshaun Jackson.
You're right, Tolly. I'm looking at the stats right now. Total yards, Delaware State 526, South Carolina State 406. Rushing yards, Delaware State had 439 rushing yards. South Carolina State rushing yards 157. Turnovers, Delaware State 4. I mean, not Delaware State. Yeah, Delaware State 4. South Carolina State 1. In terms of time of possession, Delaware State 31-20, South Carolina State 28-40. This had everything to say Delaware State, to your point, could have won this game. But the big thing is those turnovers that Symone just alluded to, and then the fact that when you talk about the one stat that I just didn't mention, South Carolina State passing yards 249, Delaware State 87. If Caden Bennett could have made some additional plays here and there, when maybe let's say the running game didn't necessarily get them a first down or something like that, like this could have been a game that Delaware State could have won. But I will say this, as a person who picked South Carolina State, this is a South Carolina State team that basically showed you in a tight game situation that this was the team that was better built to handle this situation. This was a Delaware State team that they got there to this moment. They've had a phenomenal season. Deshaun Jackson has done yeoman's work from the very first day he got to Delaware State and what he was able to do with this team in year one. So the future is bright in Dover for the Hornets, but the better team that was supposed to win this game won this game.
All right, we're going to get deeper into South Carolina State in a second. I want to stick with Delaware State for 1 second. And Symone and Wilton, this was the first game that I really sat down and just had the opportunity. I wasn't working. I wasn't somewhere else, and I just watched the game. And the one thing that really stood out to me, and Wilton, you just talked about it, if Delaware State had a starting quarterback that could put the ball on the money when he needed to, would really have expanded this year's team. I noticed, like on some of those quick outs to the flats, like the ball just kind of sailed. It gave the defense an opportunity to react and get to the ball, and some of the passes just weren't there for wide open receivers. Was that the missing element that could have been the difference for this Delaware State team? Excellent running the ball, but the passing game wasn't quite where the standard is for a successful college football team.
When you look at this specific individual game, that absolutely is the missing element. You've seen Caden Bennett in different games throughout this season have strong performances. Even in the game, you go back to one of the non-conference games that Caden Bennett got removed from the game, and then the backup quarterback came in and he actually played well. But again, when you get into conference games like this, and you're talking about a Delaware State team that was dealing with a South Carolina State team that has been in this position before, you can't afford to make those mistakes when you're trying to play championship football. And I think that those mistakes caught up with them. I don't necessarily think Caden Bennett is a bad quarterback. I just think that he ran into a really uber-focused Bulldogs defense that came ready to play and just were really, really locked in from the very beginning. And again, when you run into a defense like that, the smallest margin can essentially equate to a turnover. And so you can't have those issues. When it's time to play championship football, you have to be ready to play championship football. And South Carolina State's defense, in terms of whether it was South Carolina State's defense versus Caden Bennett, South Carolina State's defense won.
All right, excellent game. It was pure entertainment. The fans in Delaware State showed up. An excellent season. I think the MEAC did the most with the least, just to have 6 teams. The drama comes all the way down to the end. You had an underdog in the championship game. All right, let's talk about South Carolina State. They won the game. Let's move on to the flower portion for the Bulldogs. Symone, how good can this team be in the Celebration Bowl? They had a great regular season last year in the MEAC. Not a great showing in Atlanta. We don't know if they're going to play Jackson State or if they're going to play Prairie View. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. How do you see this year's team maybe versus last year's team?
Definitely coming in with that extra oomph because of not winning last year. This season, South Carolina State had a great season last season, but this season it definitely felt like they were like eyes on the prize this entire season. The prize being getting to Atlanta and winning this time. South Carolina State this entire year has looked how they were supposed to look. A number one team in the MEAC. They never looked like they really had a chink in the armor. It's been full steam ahead. Took care of a Delaware State team that had not only a lot of talent, but a lot of hype, a lot of buzz in Dover, in Delaware, which is a new environment to play in now, and never lost sight of focus. So I'm behind the Bulldogs. We don't know if it's Jackson State, if it's Prairie View yet. But this Bulldogs team has all the ingredients to win a Celebration Bowl.
Wilton, do you feel like Symone kept the same energy when talking about the Bulldogs as she has talking
First of all,
about
all
Delaware
I've
State?
said, first of all, we already know I'm a Deshaun Jackson fan. I'm a Michael Vick fan. I have two teams now, Norfolk and Delaware. Sorry, they ain't coaching at South Carolina State, but that don't mean I don't like South Carolina State. I'm a fan of Deshaun Jackson. That's my wide receiver one for life, 4L, jackpot 10. So I don't know why South Carolina State, that's not hate on South Carolina State. And I said in the last show, y'all heard me do a signing off to Delaware State season. When we did our preview show, I said, it's been a great year, Delaware State. Y'all did good, which meant what? What does that mean? When somebody say before the game, great season. That means it's wrapped up.
Well, I ask, Miles, can we?
I'm not about to be whooping and cheering for the Bulldogs.
Can we hear from the fans, Miles? I think we got a graphic in there where people.
Well, at least he spelled my name right. So shout out to you, Dr. Izzy.
Yeah, because a lot of people hit you with the Simone.
Yes.
But tell Miss Symone we need that same energy for her public congratulations to the Bulldogs.
But my thing is, why do I need to congratulate the Bulldogs? I'm not a Bulldogs fan. I'm a fan of Delaware State. But what I will say, can you go back, Miles? Why would I hide? My team was predicted to finish last, and my team was competing for a championship. Okay? Why would I hide?
All right. So that was the MEAC. Symone's not in hiding. She showed up, not in witness protection. Wilton, before we jump over to the SWAC, can this South Carolina State team fare better in Atlanta this year than last year's team?
I think they can. I think this is a South Carolina State team, even with Chennis Beard recently mentioned, of course, like the changes to the roster that he had to make coming into this year. I think this will be a better built South Carolina State team to understand what the magnitude of what they'll be facing this year. I think that, granted, South Carolina State had been to the Celebration Bowl prior to last year under Buddy Pugh, but it was Chennis Beard's first time. And it's something about having talked to Coach T.C. Taylor at Jackson State, knowing that when he was an assistant under Coach Prime when Jackson State went versus when he was head coach, it was different. Like there's a certain level of preparedness that you have to see differently. And when you're the head coach, it's different. But then also when it's your first time, and, you know, obviously you've watched film, you look at, you understand the game, you know football, but it's a different feeling. And so I think that if you're Chennis Beard, you look back at that experience last year and know that you've won a lot of games. You had a lot of success. You've had a lot of success even in his first year as the coach in the, first year in coaching in the MEAC, and then of course, his success at Benedict, but he had never had that experience until last year of playing in coaching in a Celebration Bowl. And so with that, I think having gone through that experience last year, I think his players and himself and the coaching staff will be a little bit more prepared for what's to come, whether it's Jackson State or Prairie View.
All right, so let's go over to the SWAC now, SWAC East, because Prairie View had things wrapped up. They beat the brakes off Mississippi Valley State. Didn't matter if they won or lost, but they won in BTA fashion. All right, so it started like this. Alabama State last Saturday played at noon. They needed to win and then hope for a Jackson State loss. So Alabama State handles business against UAPB. I think UAPB might have scored first, and so there might have been like 5 minutes of, is Alabama State going to fumble their opportunity? But they got things together. They win it 44-13. Wilton, you were at Jackson State for the Soul Bowl. And it started out, Jackson State just came out and they rolled to a 17-0 lead early in this game, and it looked like it was not going to be a lot of drama, but it didn't end that way. It didn't end that way. Tell us from your point of view at Press Box how that game unfolded.
Tyler, you see this highlight playing right now? When Ahmad Miller broke off that 50-plus yard run, the energy in that stadium was electric. And I mean, like, you would have thought like Alcorn might be in trouble from the very beginning. Because of course you get him with the running game. They score on that first drive. Jack State gets the ball moving. They take this 17-0 lead. But you knew that against an Alcorn team that had been building wins, they came in winning 4 straight. You knew that there was going to be some continuity of them coming back and at least building a way to come back in this game. But I don't think anybody in America thought that it would end the way that it ended. I remember asking Coach Taylor in the press conference that in the second half, Alcorn came out with a sense of urgency for sure. They scored on that first drive in the second half and predominantly in the running game. And so in knowing that, I asked him, he said he felt like Jackson State went to sleep defensively, and I would have to agree with him. They kind of got lax a little bit. Things that we saw Jackson State do slightly last season in not necessarily just bigger games, but just games in general, but then, of course, would pull away to win those games. But no one in America thought that this game would have ended the way that it ended. We're not going to even get to the play that I'm talking about. Let's get to the forward pass situation with Alcorn. I mean, they almost had the referees. Shout out to the referees for actually catching that. Because in previous years, or maybe even this season, maybe there are referees that don't actually catch that play, right? But then on top of that, you get Jared Lockhart, victory formation, he fumbles the ball. I can assure you, everybody in the press box where I was sitting, everybody across the sideline, everybody in that stadium wearing something blue and white, their mouth went like this.
Because at that point, Jackson State was up by 4. Were they up by 4 points?
Yes.
Up by 4. A little over a minute to go. They got a big first down. All they had to do was take a knee and run out the clock. And on the first victory formation, under center for the first time. Were you watching the game, Symone?
I watched that ending.
Oh, my God. They fumbled. Ball goes right between Lockhart's legs. Alcorn State gets it back, and they got, 2 shots for a Hail Mary?
And that Hail Mary ball was right in the, those were some good Hail Mary balls he threw, too.
How do you think Alabama State felt? The range of emotions they felt watching that game.
I could see.
Because if Alcorn State
my
wins,
body wouldn't have been able to go
in.
through that stress. No. First of all, TC Taylor, bro. He has been in some stressful late game scenarios. That, was there time left on the clock in that Alabama State game? And then now in this situation, having to hold on for them Hail Marys. Somebody need to check his heart monitor reader. But, man, I feel like if you were an Alabama State fan, you were hopeful, but you were kind of checked out. Because
I felt like the way that momentum shifted that Alcorn State could have, and the way that Saturday had gone, because we had seen Benedict in the Division II playoffs come back. They were down, 24-0. They won on a Music City Miracle cross-field lateral. That was crazy. The Florida Classic ended crazy with Bethune-Cookman going down the field in the last few seconds getting a touchdown. So it was just that
energy from the
energy
game
in the air for HBCU football. I was like, I would not be shocked if
it's the fact he had 2 shots at the end zone.
And that last one, they didn't knock it down. It
held.
Well, so the last one, the defender, he knocked it down, but he knocked it forward so that he didn't tip it up in the air for someone else to catch it, which I thought was pretty smart.
See, I feel like I could catch a Hail Mary.
You're going to catch something for talking about those collard greens. That's what you're going to catch. You're going to catch some smoke.
For that.
Why? It's plenty of delicious food to eat.
But anyway, back on task. So for Alabama State, look, their season came down to 2 plays.
2 Hail Marys.
The touchdown that they didn't get against Jackson State and the touchdown that Alcorn State didn't get against Jackson State. Both, last-second plays at the vet.
Came down to final seconds. Question marks of it. Is there time on the clock? Is there not?
Yeah,
that's brutal.
I mean, that was enough for the fans. I think everybody was had to be entertained. I know I was entertained sitting at home. So no one could tackle Reggie Davis except for that. That's a bad pothole in the vet. There's a storm drain right there.
Oh no,
that thing will trip you up. Wilton, that was the play that you talked about there that they didn't catch on TV. Or The announcers didn't catch it. The referees caught it. But Alcorn State, that was a momentum-shifting touchdown that got called back because it was 2 handoffs, and both of the handoffs were like little flips forward, which counted as the same as a forward pass. If he just would have stuck it in the pocket, it would have been a different scenario. But just that little flip made it 2 forward passes. So, look, I know SWAC referees get a lot of heat week in and week out, but that was a very good call to catch that. But drama in the Soul Bowl. So we now have Jackson State, Prairie View, A&M. That's where we are. We're going to have a week to get into that because, of course, this weekend we're going to have the game in New Orleans, the Baton Rouge versus Grambling. So that's the Bayou Classic every year. I'm getting old. I was like, get that word out, Bayou Classic. So we'll have that. There's no consequences there, not as much hype on that game. But then we're going to have the SWAC championship. So let's set it up, Wilton. Jackson State, Prairie View, A&M.
Tolly, this is going to be one to watch. Obviously, I mean, the winner, we know that the winner goes to the Celebration Bowl, will face South Carolina State. This is a different Prairie View team that Jackson State saw from 2021. Obviously, Jackson State beat Prairie View to get to that 2021, to get that 2021 SWAC championship and to go to the Celebration Bowl in 2021. I'm expecting a really evenly matched game. I think that these are two teams that are kind of built similar to each other. I think that, you have two teams that like to run the ball. Obviously, you have Chase Bingman and Lamaje McDowell for Prairie View. With Jackson State, we know their bevy of running backs, Travis Terrell, Ahmad Miller, Denario Davenport, two of the better rushing attacks in the SWAC. When you start talking about quarterback play, I would probably lean more towards Jackson State versus Prairie View, not taking anything away from Cameron Peters and what he's been able to do. There have been some times where he's been inconsistent, but we know his biggest playmaker is Josiah Rockwell. So I think in that game, if you're Prairie View, getting explosive plays is going to definitely be able to help you in terms of winning this game. I think that getting explosive plays and generating stops against Jackson State's offense, and when I mean stops, not necessarily meaning that they're going to stop Jackson State from moving the ball, but maybe forcing Jackson State to get 3 points versus touchdowns in the red zone, because Jackson State, much like Prairie View, is one of the better teams in the red zone in terms of scoring. But I think if you're Prairie View, you absolutely have to force Jackson State into field goals, an area where they've been kind of shaky at times this season. And instead of giving them those field goals versus giving them touchdowns. And I think that's one of the better ways or better chances for Prairie View to win this game. And, of course, their defense.
All right, that game's going to be at the Vet. Symone, Jackson State, Prairie View. How do you see that one going down?
I know I've been saying it all season. I feel like this is another Jackson State year. Just like I said about South Carolina State, I feel like Jackson State this entire season, they've been looking like a championship team. They've been consistent all year long. I feel like it's going to be a rematch in the Celebration Bowl. And even in these scenarios, like these tight game scenarios where it comes down to seconds on the clock, they always find a way to win, find a way to get stops. They beat the team that we consider to be the SWAC championship game, which was Alabama State. So they've been battle tested. I don't see why they should falter in the game against Prairie View.
Wilton, if Jackson State's going to ride their way into another Celebration Bowl appearance, are they going to have to do it with Lockhart? Does he look like the guy they're going to stick with? I know there was injury situations with Jacoby and Morgan. I don't really know where he stands, but do you think Lockhart is going to be the way that Jackson State's going to have to go here?
So in the press conference, we asked him, basically what Jacoby and Morgan's status was, and he's been cleared. I got a chance to watch practice last weekend, got a chance to see Jacoby kind of move around in practice, and he looked really fluid. If you saw him on the sideline during the game, he looked pretty mobile, was, hopping around, with his teammates. So right now, Jared Lockhart, if that's the guy that TC Taylor goes with, I think that would be the guy that most of us expect him to go with. But there is a possibility, in my opinion, that Jacoby and Morgan could come back for this SWAC championship game. If he, in fact, does, I definitely think that it increases their chances even more for Jackson State to win this game. I just think that when you have your senior leader out there, not just from leading from the sideline and instilling confidence and guidance into Jared Lockhart, but having him on the field, leading the offense again, it certainly doesn't hurt, especially if he's able to do it. Now, granted, if you're Coach Taylor and you feel like you have the utmost confidence in a Jared Lockhart, which again, we've seen him grow over the weeks. And other than, the late game fumble in the victory formation, he had a solid game. He had a really solid game. So you don't necessarily, you have to make the decision of, do I want to mess up the continuity that we've built over the last 4 to 5 weeks and bring our starter back? Or do we allow Jared Lockhart to play in another big game and get that experience? And should Jacoby Morgan need to come in the game, it's a need type basis versus him starting the game. Because here's the thing, when you start thinking about next year, not that this matters per se exactly right now, but Jared Lockhart is your future. And if that's the case, the future is pretty bright. So giving him this opportunity to further gain more confidence in bigger game situations, I think it only bodes well for Jackson State. So I would expect to see Lockhart start, but I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Taylor elected to bring Morgan back for this game should he be ready.
All right, we've seen 3 different quarterbacks play this year for Jackson State. But look, the red shirt is gone. You don't have anything to lose in that regard with Lockhart. All right, so MEAC regular season's done. South Carolina State last team.
Woo!
Standing.
Let's go, South Carolina State.
Oh wow, she doesn't want to catch those comments.
Woo!
All right, SWAC regular season is mostly done. We got the Bayou and the Turkey Day Classic, and then we'll have the SWAC championship game. All right, so this is the time of the year where we'll start to see movement. Of course, the portal, there's always movement, but we got coaches at the end of contracts, coaches who haven't got the job done, or coaches who have done such a good job that they're going to attract interest from other people. Let's start in the MEAC. I think in the MEAC,
say it.
Deshaun Jackson had a good year. His alma mater, Cal, University of California, just fired their coach.
I mean, I feel like Deshaun Jackson is going to stay at least one more year at Delaware State. He's had immense success at Delaware State, but there's still a lot more to soak up, to learn, a lot more growth he can have even after having such a big year, first winning season since 2012, first time making it. Well, they were in the championship game for the first time since 2007. So hats off. Okay. But I do think he's going to stay put at least another season, because even with all the success, there's still a lot of growth he can have. This was his first time as a head coach on any level. So I do think he stays put for a while, builds something at Delaware State before he who knows, he might retire at Delaware State before he maybe goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's everything Symone said. No need to repeat it. I agree there. Look, Trey Oliver is fine. I think things are fine at Howard.
Safe.
I think Morgan is going to, hold steady.
Safe.
Norfolk State just hired Vic.
Safe. Don't try it in the comments. Safe.
Of course, we just talked about Delaware State. So I don't think we'll see a lot of movement in the MEAC. I don't think we'll see any movement in the MEAC. Over in the SWAC now. Alabama State, good. Jackson State,
okay.
good. Sam Shade is new. Look.
He good.
He's good.
All them injuries, come on now.
Mississippi Valley State, first year under Buckley. They're good. Let's see.
That school down in Florida.
FAMU. Because we know they strict.
New AD.
Them fans pressed right now.
Yeah.
They've been pressed early on. Remember, we talked several weeks on this show about them not being happy.
They real pressed now after losing the Florida Classic.
Yeah.
And the way they lost.
Exactly.
I think this was a big year for Woody. I think Woody showed that. Don't it feel good to win? I think they're okay. We could see some movement at FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
I would put some money on that. You know how you asked me the last.
You gonna put your whole 100 on it?
You got 5 on it?
Yeah, I might put my whole 100 on this one. From what some things I've gathered, I can't say obviously, of course, if Cozy's gonna get fired, but I can guarantee you as Symone says, the street committee, the streets be talking. They not happy with the way that this season ended. And granted, they got Mississippi Valley next week for the makeup game, which they should beat Mississippi Valley. I would like to think that they will. But even if they do, I think that FAMU fans are ready for something different. I think that had Cozy would have led the team to a win against Bethune-Cookman in the Florida Classic, I think maybe that would have changed some things. But from what I'm gathering, just certain people I've been talking to, there are some things in motion. I can't necessarily say what exactly it is,
come on, Wilton.
but
Wilton.
but
Wilton.
at the same time, I just know from the streets and the street committee that fans are not very happy in Tallahassee.
And what's crazy is FAMU got off to a bad start, but then they started to put things together.
Right.
And it was just a couple of weeks ago we were like, okay, all right, if they win here, win there.
JSU lose here, lose there.
Yeah, they were back in the mix, but didn't end that way. Did not end that way. All right, let's go out west. Prairie View is okay.
See?
Alcorn State, I think Thomas did enough.
He's safe now. I think he's safe now for sure.
Yeah. Southern is got an interim situation.
Right.
I don't think Fred McNair is going to be the new head coach.
He's not.
And I hate that I hate that he just inherited, because Fred was winning games at Alcorn. He gets the Texas Southern job in theory for a second. That gets snatched away, and he's just kind of been in no man's land. And I really hate that, because he's really a good coach. But I don't know that anybody would have won at Southern this year. I don't. It was just a bad juju year at Southern. Yeah. Grambling has a short leash, but I think they're okay for what
7-win season for Grambling.
Yeah. It just felt kind of weird after that close Kentucky State win.
Absolutely.
But we didn't realize how good Kentucky State actually was.
Right.
And then they beat Jackson, so they're okay.
Grambling's okay?
Yeah. Texas Southern, first winning season in a while. Chris Dishman had a little rough patch there early in the year, but they were almost in it late for a little while. So he's okay.
That was a big win for Texas Southern, and that was a big mark for them, because we've seen Texas Southern have some moments over the years where, I can't remember if it was last year or year before last, where they've had some chances to really kind of put themselves in contention to do some different things, and then they obviously would fall out. So to see Chris Dishman get a winning season, something he's been wanting, something he had been preaching from the very beginning of the season, I think this is a very good stepping stool for where this team can be next year. And especially if he's able to add some different pieces through the transfer portal, and or, of course, some players that's already on the roster take some big steps or big leaps next year. I think this could be a very talented Texas Southern team.
All right, so the questions are, what's Southern going to do? And UAPB. Alonzo Hampton, his contract is up. Will he get renewed? I think everybody loves Alonzo Hampton. I think he's a great motivator, great coach, but the wins just haven't been there. It's UAPB they've won before, had some of those wins taken away, but we have seen them win on the field before, not consistently. It's a tough job. It's rough in the SWAC. It's rough at UAPB. No decision there. People talked to him about it this week in the media call for the SWAC. He said he wants to be back, but wanting to be back and getting signed are two different things. So what do you think happens at UAPB, guys?
I thought Southern was looking at Colorado coach.
Marshall Falk? Mm-hmm. They looked at Marshall Falk before. It's been reported they're looking at him again. I saw something online and I didn't read it, but I saw something. There was a snag or something. Look, with the Southern, I believe whoever shows up at the press conference the day they announce the hiring is the coach. We get lots of speculation.
Yep.
So
honestly, I'm not against Marshall Falk if he does come to Southern and he's their next coach. But I think more so than anything, and I recently talked about this in a story for The Advocate about Southern, whoever they choose as their next coach.
Name drop. Go ahead, Wilton.
I really want them to be able to pick someone who understands their culture, and not necessarily someone who's been a coach or a replicated coach within the SWAC, meaning like, hey, I coached at, I'm just throwing names out, And as an example, I coached at Prairie, and then I coached at Texas Southern, and now I'm at Southern. Like
Retread. Go ahead, say it, Wilton.
Yes,
Retread.
like I want them to find the right person that has the Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans roots. Someone who understands the Southern culture and what that really means, and not just from a standpoint of like, hey, we're gonna win games. Of course, that's the ultimate goal because that's why you become the coach. But at the same time, knowing how to recruit these players coming out of the state of Louisiana and having a strong interest in wanting to do it, because it's like, Tolly, when you start talking about talent, and Symone, you know this too, as far as like when you talk about NFL teams, there are so many outstanding elite players from the state of Louisiana that's playing in the NFL and on the collegiate level. And it's a lot more beyond just the schools of like, you know, the players that go to LSU and, you know, Tulane or any of those SEC schools. There are so many high schools filled with talent in Louisiana. There is no way whoever's the next coach at Southern that you shouldn't be able to get a good crop of players to come play for you at Southern, in a program like Southern. This is a program that should never be down like the way we saw it down this year. And this is coming from someone that's a Jackson State, a person affiliated to Jackson State.
Well, the one thing we know for sure about Southern is they want to win immediately. Right. They're not a rebuilding program. There's not a lot of patience there. If you don't win, you got to go.
Yep.
That ain't for everybody, Wilton. That you gotta come with it.
It's like that for some programs, Tolly. Like I was having a conversation with somebody in the press conference on Saturday. When you talk about Jackson State, Southern, Grambling, FAMU, your lease is not it's not long. Like you either win or you're gonna get the pink slip that says we love you. We love what you've done for the program, the players. But you're not winning games. And if you're not winning games, you're not put butts in seats. If you're not put butts in seats, that means you're not generating revenue. And if you're not generating revenue, you ain't making no money. And at the end of the day, we know how important athletics are when you start talking about college institutions, and not even just on the small level or smaller level when you talk about HBCUs. We're just talking about colleges, period. So, and when you talk about money-making revenue sports like football, if that program specifically is not doing well, and you're talking about programs where we're talking about the SWAC in the South, oh man, that's not good at all. So those leashes are short when you start talking about blue blood programs in the SWAC.
All right, so UAPB, what do they do? Are they going to stay with Hampton, or do you think there's an opening there? And I love Coach Hampton, love him.
Oh, I've been on the record to say that almost every other show, but this is what's going to happen. Alonzo Hampton, we appreciate what you've done for this program. You've really got the best out of the players as best as you could. We know things weren't perfect.
This ain't sounding good.
This is a business decision, and we just have to part ways and go with go in a new direction.
Whew, that sounds like some of my girlfriends, boy. I appreciate them lunches you bought me. You were so nice. My mama like you.
But they was using you for food.
But it ain't working. Yeah, I might have had 5 on that, Symone. UAPB, though, let's just say that happens. Let's just hypothetically say that happens. That feels like one of those locations where you can get a name brand, famous, not a lot of experience coach. You can roll the dice like a Delaware State did.
LaShawn McCoy. He said he want to coach.
Who would you say, Symone? I didn't hear you.
I was just kidding, but I said LaShawn McCoy.
He's going to need to go to HBCU's
101.
Yeah. HBCU 101.
We need to put him through a boot camp.
Yes. So then reapply. But that seems like a place where it's like, look, we just can't shoot for the middle and stay at the like. It's a place where you could take a risk because, like, what do you have to lose? Like, you got to make a jump to get out of the funk. You got to make a jump to get out of the funk. Mm-hmm. Almost rhymed.
Yeah. No, you do. And I think that if you're Arkansas Pine Bluff, I hate to say this because this particular team didn't necessarily have a great season, but I feel like they didn't have a great season because of the timing of when this particular coach got there, and he wasn't able to really bring in his players like that. But I think next year per se, when he's really able to get his recruiting class, Reggie Barlow at Tennessee State, I think Tennessee State is going to be fine. But when I mentioned that because it's Reggie Barlow, we know what he was able to do, obviously in the XFL. We know what he was able to do amongst understanding the HBCU ranks from Alabama State and some of his other conferences that he coached in. So if you're Arkansas Pine Bluff, you absolutely want somebody maybe not necessarily similar to Reggie Barlow in terms of his coaching style, but like maybe a name in that regard that understands both landscapes, both understands what it's like to recruit HBCU players, understand the HBCU landscape, but also maybe have some professional experience, whether it's the NFL, if it's the XFL, and maybe to build those bridges and those partnerships to really say, how can we make not only this team from an X's and O's standpoint better, but how can we, further build strategic like partnerships and pathways for HBCU players to get to the NFL. But more than anything, if you're Arkansas Pine Bluff, you're thinking like we need to win games so we can have more butts in seats to have a successful year.
And with the way NIL is now working, like the other thing that works to the advantage of some of these name brand, new coaches is that they bring in corporate relationships or they bring in super fans or casual fans or whatever that can generate and actually bring money to your program. They're people that other people want to invest in because they're like, oh, Deshaun Jackson was my favorite wide receiver, or Michael Vick was my favorite quarterback, or Coach Prime, I loved him. And maybe that can bring in more than, an elevated assistant whose time has come and is really good at coaching, but nobody knows who they are. And I don't mean that in a degrading way, but it's just the way the business works now. Like, you got to have influx of cash because you literally have to pay your players now.
Yep, no, you do. And that's just the name of the game. It's not going anywhere. And that's why if you're Arkansas Pine Bluff, you have to know that whoever your next coach is, do know that that's going to play a heavy impact on the type of players that you're going to be able to recruit. And if you know that, if you're the AD and you want high impact players to come to your program, with the amount of funds that you have to disseminate to the players that you're bringing in, that means you're probably going to have to bring in at least an elite coach that will want to come play for this particular coach that you bring in.
All right. Symone, over the weekend, you had a chance to call the volleyball championships for the SWAC down at FAMU. How did that experience go?
Great experience. I actually love volleyball a lot. A lot of every single match was like very competitive, high energy. We had a 7 and 8 seed in the championship, which just shows the depth of the talent that they have playing volleyball in the SWAC. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of high energy, great week.
Symone is so cute in this photo. Look at that. She's standing beside Vaughn. Y'all know
Yeah, Vaughn doesn't
day.
bully me, so we can be nice.
So look, I'm just going to ask. I'm not picking. I'm just going to ask.
Do not.
So when girls, when ladies wear ties, I think it's a cute look. Do they wear them long?
First of all, do I need to get my mama on the phone?
Go ahead, call her.
Do I need to get her on the phone? Because she is not going to like this. You get one little quarter zip, Tolly, and you want to be talking about what other people are wearing.
I'm not talking. I'm asking a question. Look,
you can wear any length of tie you want. It's all about fashion. And let me tell you this. While I was walking up and down that court, I had to turn down compliments. It was almost getting embarrassing, the amount of compliments I was getting.
You were very cute there. I'm not saying that tongue in cheek. It was a very cute look. I was just asking the young ladies, wear the tie that long when a lady wants to wear a tie. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you can wear your tie.
I mean, I got daughters. They might want to go for that look. I just want to,
ladies. And
I have to show them how to tie their tie. I need to know do I need to tie it long or short?
Oh, shout out to Santoria, because Santoria tied my tie. Santoria Black.
What up, Santoria?
So thank you. You can ask Santoria, because Santoria is the one who gave me the extendo clip.
The extendo clip?
Yeah. You don't know what that means?
Is that a clip on? What is it? I don't know what an extendo clip is. What is that?
Get him. Get him.
I don't know what it is. Wilton, what's an extendo clip?
I'm gonna just let Symone tell you.
No, just Google it after the show or something.
What is it? I don't know. Do y'all know in the comments?
Yeah,
Do y'all
they know.
Extendo
Yeah.
clip. I don't know that Wilton knows. Wilton is acting
He
like
do.
he don't know.
No, I know. I'm just not saying that because it's funny.
I'm not embarrassed. If I don't know something, I just don't know. Okay, I put extendo clip and all I get are guns that come up on Google.
An extendo clip, yes, or your blicky when it gets sticky.
So it's a gun? Like,
Wrap up this show.
So Tolly, you know how like you was clowning Symone for not knowing the weed reference?
Yeah, now
and
you
got
looking
500?
crazy.
It's kind of like
no,
that
no.
now.
The difference is Symone brought the song up and had no idea what she was talking about.
I did. You didn't have $5.
We were talking
it.
about ties, and then she goes to extendo clip. I'm like, is that a clip-on tie? Like, so extendo clip, is that like a switch? Is that what they be talking about?
Well,
when
I'm
they're talking
saying
about a
when I
switch?
use the reference, I'm saying something that's like extendo, you know? Like the tie was on extendo.
I still have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And have no shame that I have no idea. All
Let's put like this, Tolly. We don't want to ever see you with an extendo flip.
Exactly.
Okay.
If we ever did,
She
if
said,
if-
I said, Ma, they trying to clown me. She said, them game day ninjas.
Tolly, if we saw you with an extendo clip, me
She
personally,
said,
I don't
them
know how I would
game
take you.
day ninjas try to clown you for the tie.
I'm
Mama,
not. Tell your
I'm
mama
not-
I'm giving you all good graces.
I'm not trying to clown. I was
Zoom in, Miles.
No, Miles, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in. Be messing up our sponsorship out here. We be on broke 0.99, no ads. Look, when I upload the video, it says submit the rating. Any explicit content, no. We might be in trouble about talking about this extendo clip y'all keep talking about. Look, I don't know. I don't care that I don't know.
My tie was perfectly fine at the end of the day.
It was cute. It was very cute. I was just asking, when the young ladies wear ties, are they supposed to be long? Like, is it an exaggerated look to say, look, I know I'm a lady, I'm wearing a tie, but this is how I tie it.
Now this
I'm
is
just
how-
asking. You're supposed to be able to ask questions when you don't know.
And I said you can wear your tie however you want to.
Okay.
And thank you, Santoria.
They're very, very cute. I thought that's why I wanted America to see it. I thought it was a very cute look. All right. So we get together next week, and we're going to talk about the SWAC championship. We'll have fallout from the Bayou Classic. Maybe Southern will immediately let us know who their coach is going to be. Maybe we'll have some new information on that. And we'll talk more about South Carolina State as they get ready for the Celebration Bowl. Don't extend your clips over Thanksgiving. That might not turn out well, according to Symone and Wilton. Wilton has switched sides. He's over there trying to clown me as well. All right,
I'm
guys.
just laughing.
Wilton got smoke for whoever.
Thank you guys so much. And send Symone some good collard green recipes. I don't know what these watery collard greens she's talking about.
I'm saying it's in juice. All y'all collard greens, is it not in some liquid?
They should give you some extendo fat back in your collard greens. That's what they ought to do. All right, this has been HBCU Game Day. We'll talk to you guys next time.